Beneath the old crumbling bridge, where darkness swallows every hope, the haunting sound of a worn trumpet breaks the still night. It is the cry of a soul once brilliant on royal stages, now lost amidst the harsh tides of life. Mensah, the forgotten musician, breathes life into each note, clutching onto his past and yearning for a chance to live again. But behind those melodies lie unhealed wounds, fierce confrontations, and a journey through darkness no one expected. This is not just a story about music, it is a story of life, love, and unyielding resilience. Before you embark on this emotional journey, please click the subscribe button so you don't miss out on our next exciting episodes. Under the dim glow of the street lamps, the night around the riverbank in Accra whispered secrets only the wind dared to carry. The concrete pillars of the bridge loomed overhead like silent sentinels, their shadows stretching long and deep, swallowing everything in a cloak of near-complete darkness. But amid the heavy silence, there was a sound, fragile, worn, but persistent. The haunting, cracked notes of a trumpet echoed through the night air, each one trembling with a raw, aching sorrow. Mensah sat hunched beneath the bridge, wrapped in threadbare layers that did little to stave off the chill of the evening. His hands, weathered and trembling, gripped the battered trumpet as if it were the last lifeline, tethering him to a world long lost. His face, etched with deep lines of hardship and regret, caught the occasional flicker of a passing car's headlights. But mostly he was alone, a solitary figure in a sea of darkness, pouring his soul into the music that only he and the night could hear. The trumpet's voice was rough, uneven, a far cry from the polished notes of a seasoned musician, but it carried a weight no audience could ignore. It was the sound of a man clinging to memories, to a past gilded with glory and promise. Mensah's story was one written not just in music, but in the jagged scars of loss and resilience. Once he had played on the grandest stages, a celebrated member of the Ghanaian royal band. His melodies had filled palaces, the ears of kings and queens, and hearts that beat with the pride of a nation. But now, beneath this cold bridge, those days felt like a distant dream, almost a lifetime ago. A brief flickering flashback shattered the stillness. Mensah, in a crisp uniform, raising his trumpet high amid a fanfare of applause. The thrill of the spotlight, the gleam of medals, the respect he commanded. Then the image cracked, a screech of tires, the blaring horn of a reckless driver, a violent crash. The world turned upside down in an instant. The accident left him shattered, his body bruised, but far worse, his spirit fractured. His family torn apart, his career crushed under the weight of tragedy. He was cast out, swallowed by poverty, forgotten by those who once hailed him as a symbol of pride. Back in the present, Mensah's breath came out in short, visible puffs in the cool night air. His eyes, heavy with the exhaustion of years, glistened faintly as they scanned the river's edge. Despite everything, he forced the trumpet to life again, summoning from its depths a melody steeped in pain and longing. It was a language only he spoke now. A song to hold on to the fragments of his dignity, to speak to ghosts only he could see. Around him, life stirred quietly. Shadows shifted as stray dogs prowled in search of scraps. Among them was one, a scruffy, wiry dog with eyes like molten amber, who had taken to following Mensah. The dog moved with silent loyalty, its presence a small but powerful tether in Mensah's drifting world. Their bond, wordless and profound, was a testament to the companionship that transcends words, the unspoken comfort found in shared solitude. The dog rested its head near Mensah's feet, occasionally letting out a low whine, as if urging him to keep playing, to keep fighting. Mensah's mind wandered through the corridors of time, recalling faces long gone. The laughter of his children, the proud smile of his wife before everything fell apart. The trumpet's notes trembled with those memories, sometimes sharp and piercing, sometimes soft and mournful. Each night the music was both his sanctuary and his torment. The world might see only a homeless man beneath a bridge. But to Mensah, the trumpet was a beacon, a fragile but unyielding light cutting through the darkness. His fingers stiff with the cold, and age barely managed the delicate dance across the trumpet's valves. Yet in those moments, the music flowed not from strength, but from sheer willpower. It was a ritual, a nightly homage to the life he once lived, and the hope that somewhere, somehow, that life could still find him. The sound carried downstream, reaching ears beyond the immediate gloom, a whisper of a man's heart, beating stubbornly against the tides of despair. As the minutes stretched, the night seemed to hold its breath, cradling Mensah's melody in its vast emptiness. The distant city lights blinked in rhythm, mirroring the pulse of a story, untold, a struggle that refused to fade quietly into the night. This was more than music. It was a declaration that even in the depths of loss, even when the world turns its back, the human spirit can still sing. Mensah's trumpet spoke of loneliness and survival of pain and the faint, stubborn ember of hope. Beneath the bridge in the shadows, where few dared to look a man, and his music forged a fragile bridge between past and present, despair and resilience. And though the night was long and the road ahead uncertain, the sound of that trumpet was a promise that the story was far from over. The night air was thick with the lingering echoes of a lone trumpet, its cracked notes weaving through the labyrinth of Accra's winding streets. Kofi, a young art student with a restless spirit and a camera slung over his shoulder, was on his usual walk home. When the music caught him unprepared, a sound so haunting, so achingly familiar, it tugged at something deep inside him. It wasn't just music. It was a voice calling out from the shadows, drawn like a moth to a fragile flame. Kofi followed the melody's trail down narrow alleys and past flickering streetlights until he found himself beneath the same bridge where Mensah had taken refuge. The sight startled him. An old man hunched over, cloaked in rags, his eyes closed as his trembling fingers coaxed the trumpet's melancholic song into the night. The dog lay nearby, silent but watchful. Kofi lifted his camera instinctively, capturing the raw, intimate moment. The worn brass of the trumpet glinted dully in the weak moonlight, and every breath Mensah took seemed like a battle against time itself. This wasn't just a performance. It was survival, a desperate grasp for meaning amidst ruins. Kofi's heartbeat quickened. Here was a story waiting to be told, a soul aching to be heard. Over the next several nights, Kofi returned quietly, keeping his distance, at first recording from the shadows. He resisted the urge to intrude, knowing that trust would have to be earned. But the music continued, an unspoken invitation bridging their worlds. Gradually, he began to speak softly to Mensah, offering words of respect and curiosity rather than pity. The old man's eyes flickered open, wary but not hostile. Mensah's voice was gravelly and low as he spoke his first words to Kofi, cautious and guarded. Years on the streets had taught him to hide, to protect himself from false kindness. But there was something genuine in Kofi's presence, a spark of youth and understanding that softened the edges of his skepticism. Night by night, their conversations grew longer, moving beyond music to memories, pain, and fleeting moments of joy. They shared stories beneath the cold glow of the bridge's lamplight. Mensah recounted the grandeur of his past, the royal banquets, the standing ovations, the sense of purpose that once filled his life. Kofi listened intently, occasionally filming, but mostly absorbing the weight of history that clung to the old man's words. The contrast between them was stark, the raw hunger of youth meeting the faded dignity of age. Yet in those moments, the distance between generations narrowed. They found common ground in the language of music, how a single note could carry a lifetime of emotion, how a melody could heal wounds no words could reach. Kofi spoke of his dreams, the films he wanted to make, and the stories he longed to share. Mensah's lips twitched in a ghost of a smile, the first sign of light breaking through years of darkness. One night, as the trumpet's cry faded into the river's gentle murmur, Kofi proposed an idea to create a short documentary that would tell Mensah's story not as a spectacle, but as a testament to resilience, art, and the human spirit. Mensah hesitated, the weight of vulnerability pressing down. To reveal his life's wounds to the world was daunting. But beneath the bridge, amid the quiet companionship of the dog and the persistent hope in Kofi's eyes, he nodded. Their partnership blossomed into something profound, two souls intertwined through film and music, bridging past and future. Kofi's camera captured not just the notes, but the silences between them. The tremor of hope, the shadow of despair, the fragile threads of connection. Each frame was imbued with tenderness and honesty, refusing to sugarcoat the harsh realities Mensah faced. Through their collaboration, a new light flickered in Mensah's weary eyes. The music no longer felt like a lonely echo. It became a beacon, a dialogue with a world that was beginning to listen again. For Kofi, the project was more than a film. It was a journey into the heart of human endurance, a call to bear witness to stories too often left in the dark. As the nights passed, their bond deepened. A silent understanding grew between the old musician, the young filmmaker, and the faithful dog who never left their side. It was a story unfolding in real time, a testament to the power of empathy and the unexpected ways life offers second chances. In this quiet corner beneath the bridge, amidst the rustling leaves and the distant hum of the city, the fragile melody of a forgotten trumpet became the pulse of hope. And for the first time in a long while, Mensah dared to believe that his voice could still be heard, not just by the empty night, but by a world waiting to be touched by his song. The documentary Kofi painstakingly crafted was more than just footage. It was a window into a man's soul, a voice that had long been silenced but was now breaking free. When Kofi uploaded the video to social media, it didn't just ripple through the Ghanaian internet, it exploded, shattering the walls of indifference that had long surrounded Mensah's story. Within hours, shares multiplied, comments poured in, and the haunting notes of Mensah's trumpet echoed in living rooms and on busy streets from Accra to Kumasi, sparking a wave of empathy that swept the nation. People from all walks of life connected deeply with the old musician's plight. The video wasn't just about a homeless man with a rusty trumpet. It was a mirror reflecting resilience, loss, and the stubborn human will to keep fighting. Viewers flooded the comments with messages of encouragement, stories of their own struggles, and heartfelt thanks for shedding light on a forgotten corner of society. The raw authenticity of Mensah's music and story struck a chord that resonated far beyond the screen. As the video gained traction, offers began arriving for Mensah. Invitations to perform at community events, cultural festivals, and even televised shows appeared almost overnight. But beneath the surface of these opportunities was a storm of fear and doubt. Mensah wrestled with memories of rejection and humiliation. Would the world truly accept him again, or was this fleeting attention just another cruel twist in a long saga of pain? Each message brought hope, but also the heavy weight of uncertainty as old wounds threatened to reopen. Amid this surge of public interest, shadows from Mensah's past emerged. His estranged son Kwame appeared hardened by years of bitterness and personal demons. Kwame's life had been shaped by abandonment and the lingering pain of a fractured family. Now confronted by his father's sudden visibility, he struggled with a complex web of anger, resentment, and an aching desire for reconciliation. Their reunion was anything but easy. The tension between father and son crackled in every exchanged word, every lingering glance. In a cramped, dimly lit room that smelled faintly of old tobacco and worn leather, they faced each other, the unspoken history pressing heavy between them. Kwame's voice was raw as he accused Mensah of desertion, of leaving him to fend for himself in a world that showed no mercy. Mensah, his eyes tired but unwavering, responded with quiet sorrow, recounting his own battles with loss and survival, the mistakes he had made and the love that never died. Their conversation spiraled into heated arguments over responsibility and forgiveness, each man grappling with pain too deep for words. Kwame's bitterness clashed with Mensah's humility. Accusations met confessions. But beneath the storm of emotions lay a fragile thread of hope, a yearning to rebuild what was broken, to heal wounds inflicted long ago. The air was thick with both confrontation and possibility, an intimate battle of past regrets and future dreams. As the night wore on, the intensity softened into moments of vulnerability. They shared stories of hardships endured, dreams deferred, and the silent suffering each had carried alone. The walls Mensah had built around his heart began to crack, as did Kwame's armor of resentment. In those raw exchanges, a tentative bridge formed, painful, imperfect, but real. Outside, the city moved on, unaware of the quiet reckoning unfolding within. But for Mensah and Kwame, this confrontation was a pivotal crossroad, one that would define not just their relationship, but the possibility of new beginnings. The strains of the trumpet's distant echo lingered in Mensah's mind, a reminder that while music could bring people together, it was the courage to face one another that truly healed. In this crucible of conflict and connection, the story held its breath. The audience, both within the room and beyond the screen, waited in suspense for what would come next. Would the wounds close or deepen? Could love survive years of silence and pain? The answers remained uncertain, but the very act of confrontation sparked a fragile light of hope amid the shadows. Mensah's journey was no longer just about music or survival. It had become a testament to the complexity of human relationships, the tangled threads of guilt, forgiveness, and enduring love. This chapter was raw, real, and painfully beautiful, setting the stage for the transformation yet to come. The nights under the bridge no longer felt like the endless abyss they once had. Mensah's battle with his past was far from over. The weight of loss, betrayal, and broken dreams pressed heavily upon him. Every note he played carried the echoes of wounds, not yet healed memories that clawed at his spirit. Acceptance was elusive. The shadows of his former life haunted him relentlessly. But within this storm of doubt and pain, a fragile glimmer of resolve began to take root. Kofi stood unwaveringly by his side, more than just a filmmaker now. He was a friend, a beacon of hope. With quiet encouragement and unwavering faith, Kofi reminded Mensah of the power in his music, the strength in his story. He urged him to confront his fears, to reclaim the stage, not just as a musician, but as a survivor. Their conversations were a lifeline, a steady current pulling Mensah from the depths of despair toward the possibility of renewal. Then came the night that marked a turning point. The local community hall buzzed with anticipation as Mensah stepped onto a small stage, the same trumpet held tightly in his hands. The crowd was a sea of faces, some familiar, many new, all drawn by the story that had spread like wildfire. As he raised the trumpet to his lips, a hush fell over the room. Then, from the first raw, heartfelt notes, a wave of emotion surged through the audience. They cheered, they cried, they celebrated the man who had defied the darkness. Mensah's music wasn't just sound. It was a living testament to resilience. The energy in the room lifted him, healing wounds that words never could. Through the roar of applause, he felt something he hadn't in years: belonging. At his feet, the scruffy dog remained a silent sentinel, embodying unwavering loyalty and love. That dog, once a stray, now a steadfast companion, mirrored the steadfastness Mensah needed to rebuild his life. Together, they were symbols of survival against the odds. Inspired by this renewed purpose, Mensah began sharing his gift with the children of the community. He gathered young, eager faces, many from impoverished backgrounds, and taught them how to coax melodies from brass and breath. In the dusty corners of makeshift classrooms and open-air courtyards, the trumpet's notes blossomed anew. The music bridged gaps between generations, weaving a tapestry of connection and hope. Each lesson was more than instruction. It was a passing of torch, a chance for these children to find voice and confidence in a world that often overlooked them. For Mensah, teaching became a balm for his own scars, a way to transform pain into purpose. The streets echoed, not just with his solo laments, but with the laughter and songs of a new chorus rising from the youth. The once isolated figure beneath the bridge was now a pillar of his community, his music a shared heartbeat. This phase of his journey was marked by transformation from despair to renewal, from silence to song. The healing was neither swift nor easy, but with each note, each smile, and each connection, Mensa reclaimed a life once thought lost. The shadows still lingered, but now they were softened by the warmth of human kindness and the enduring power of music. In the quiet moments, as the sun dipped low and the city settled into night, Mensa would sit beside his loyal dog Trumpet, resting by his side, feeling the pulse of a life rebuilt. The journey ahead remained uncertain, but for the first time in a long while, hope was no longer just a distant dream. It was a living, breathing reality. The invitation came like a bolt from the blue, a chance Mensa never dared to dream of again. The national music competition, broadcast live on Ghana's most-watched channel, had extended an offer for him to compete. This wasn't just a stage. It was the nation's spotlight, a chance to reclaim his name, his dignity, his life. But as the initial thrill settled, a storm of fear and doubt crashed in. Could he face the eyes of a country that had long forgotten him, or worse, judged him? Was his music still worthy? From the moment the announcement went public, the pressure mounted with an intensity Mensa hadn't experienced in decades. Cameras zoomed in, reporters circled, and social media erupted with opinions, some supportive, many skeptical, and a harsh few cruelly dredging up his painful past. The whispers and headlines questioned whether this was a redemption story or a desperate attempt to revive a fallen man's glory. The world was watching, waiting to see if Mensa could rise or fall spectacularly. Inside Mensa, a fierce battle raged. The trumpet, the very symbol of his soul, felt heavier than ever in his hands. There were nights when the silence screamed louder than any applause, when his breath caught in his throat and the urge to walk away, to retreat into the shadows once more, was overwhelming. Memories of failure and loss haunted every note. Doubts gnawed relentlessly. Was he good enough? Did he still belong? But then, amid the turmoil, an unexpected light appeared. Kwame, his son, the son who had once been a source of pain and estrangement, reached out. Their reunion, fragile and tentative, unfolded in a small, dimly lit room, where years of silence hung thick. Kwame's eyes brimmed with tears as he spoke, voice trembling with remorse and hope. "I want to start over, Father," he said. "I want to believe in you again and in us." The rawness of that moment shattered Mensa's defenses. Tears flowed freely as they embraced the weight of past wounds, giving way to a fragile, newfound connection. This heartfelt reconciliation became the emotional core Mensa needed to stand tall amid the storm. With Kwame's support, he found the courage to face what lay ahead. Preparation for the competition was grueling. Days blurred into nights, filled with tireless practice, muscle-aching breath stolen by exhaustion. The old wounds in Mensa's fingers reminded him of every moment lost, every opportunity missed. Yet each note he coaxed from his trumpet was infused with relentless determination. The rehearsal room echoed with the sounds of struggle and hope intertwined. Kofi stayed close, filming behind the scenes, but more importantly, standing as a pillar of unwavering encouragement. Together they navigated the whirlwind of media scrutiny, public expectation, and the crushing weight of self-doubt. Mensa's mind was a battleground where fear and hope clashed violently, but his heart refused to yield. As the competition day dawned, the air was thick with tension. Backstage, Mensa sat in silence, trumpet cradled like a fragile treasure. The murmurs of the crowd seeped through the curtains, a tidal wave of anticipation and judgment. Memories of his former glory flashed alongside the specters of his darkest days. But amidst the chaos inside, a steady flame of resolve burned bright. When the spotlight finally found him, Mensa took a deep breath and raised his trumpet to his lips. The first note pierced the air, trembling yet resolute. The audience was captivated, not just by the music, but by the story it told, a tale of pain, endurance, and redemption. Every phrase was a bridge across time, every melody a testament to the human spirit's unyielding strength. The performance was a crescendo of raw emotion and technical mastery, weaving a tapestry of sound that held the room spellbound. Tears glistened on faces, hands clenched in silent applause. Mensah had not just played music, he had bared his soul. As the final note faded, the silence that followed was thunderous, filled with the weight of shared humanity. The crowd erupted into standing ovation, a wave of acceptance and celebration washing over the stage. Mensah's journey from shadows to spotlight was no longer a private battle. It was a triumphant story embraced by a nation. This moment was more than victory. It was healing. It was proof that even the deepest scars could transform into strength, that the past did not define the future. And as Kwame joined him on stage, their hands clasped in solidarity, the audience witnessed not just a musician's comeback, but a family's rebirth. In this crucible of tension, doubt, and ultimate triumph, Mensah's story reached its powerful peak, a beacon of hope for all who dare to dream beyond the darkness. The night was electric, a sea of faces bathed in the harsh glare of stage lights, a world watching in breathless anticipation. Mensah stood alone at center stage, clutching his weathered trumpet, its brass dulled by years of hardship, but still shimmering under the spotlight. The murmur of the crowd faded into a hush, as if the very air held its breath, waiting for the story he was about to tell. As Mensah lifted the trumpet to his lips, time seemed to slow. The first note escaped, raw, trembling, yet undeniably powerful, cutting through the silence like a heartbeat reborn. It was more than music. It was a voice resurrected from the shadows of forgotten nights, beneath the bridge from the aching silence of years lost. Each note wove a tapestry of pain, hope, and resilience, transcending mere sound to become a living narrative. The audience was captivated, caught in the spell of a man who had faced oblivion and dared to sing again. Tears shimmered in the eyes of strangers, hands clutched in silent awe. The melody carried them through Mensah's journey, the glorious past, the shattering fall, the long climb back toward light. It was a symphony of survival, a song of the human spirit's relentless courage. With every breath, Mensah poured his soul into the trumpet, letting the music speak the words his heart could not. The stage became a sacred space where pain was transformed into beauty, where despair gave way to triumph. The final note hung in the air, a fragile promise shimmering in the stillness. Then the silence shattered, applause erupted like thunder, sweeping across the auditorium in waves of overwhelming joy. Mensah stood humbled and victorious as the crowd rose in a standing ovation that echoed his journey from darkness to light. In that moment, he was not just a musician reclaiming his craft, but a beacon of hope for a nation yearning for stories of redemption. As the judges announced his win, the room erupted again. Cheers, tears, embraces. Mensah's eyes searched the faces before him, finally resting on his son Kwame, whose smile was radiant with pride and forgiveness. Together they stood united, a symbol of healing that reached beyond music to touch the deepest chords of humanity. This night marked a rebirth, a powerful reminder that even the most broken can rise, that the past need not define the future. Mensah's triumph was not just his own. It was the victory of every soul fighting to be heard, to be seen, to be loved. And as the lights dimmed and the curtain fell, the echo of his trumpet lingered, a timeless call to courage, resilience, and hope. The halls of the National Music Academy in Guyane hummed with the quiet excitement of a new chapter unfolding. Mensah, once a forgotten figure hidden beneath the shadows of a city bridge, now walked these corridors with a purpose renewed. The offer to become an honorary teacher had been more than an accolade. It was a testament to the journey he had endured, a recognition not just of talent, but of the spirit that refused to be broken. Stepping into a sunlit classroom filled with eager young faces, Mensah felt a stirring deep within, a blend of humility and pride. The air was thick with anticipation as students tuned their instruments, waiting to absorb not just his technical expertise, but the stories carried within every note he played. Mensah knew this role demanded more than mastery of music. It required vulnerability, authenticity, and the willingness to share the scars that shaped his melody. Each lesson became a delicate dance between teaching and storytelling. Mensah would pause mid-phrase, sharing tales of his youth, the grandeur of royal performances, the crushing weight of loss, the nights when only his trumpet and a loyal dog kept him company. The students listened, captivated not just by the music, but by the resilience that transformed pain into art. His words seeded hope, encouraging them to find their own voices amid life's inevitable trials. Among those closest to Mensah was his son Kwame, who had transformed from a figure of conflict into a trusted assistant and favorite pupil. Together they navigated rehearsals and shared quiet moments of connection, bridging years of silence with each chord learned and every lesson taught. Kwame's growth mirrored Mensah's healing, a testament to the power of forgiveness and renewed bonds. Outside the classroom, the faithful dog that had journeyed alongside Mensah remained a steadfast symbol of loyalty and perseverance. Often found resting at the foot of Mensah's chair, the dog's presence was a living reminder of the quiet strength that had carried them through darkness. Their companionship embodied a love unspoken, yet deeply felt an anchor in a world still uncertain. The rhythm of this new life settled into a comforting cadence. Mornings filled with practice, afternoons of mentorship, evenings spent reflecting on the path traveled. Mensah embraced the role of mentor not just to impart musical skill, but to nurture character, instill resilience, and inspire dreams. His influence rippled beyond the notes, shaping a generation ready to face their own storms with courage. In moments of solitude, Mensah would sit quietly, trumpet resting by his side, heart full. The scars of his past were no longer burdens, but badges of honor, proof of survival and growth. The academy was more than a place of learning. It was a sanctuary of second chances, a stage where broken melodies could be rewoven into symphonies of hope. This chapter radiated with warmth and meaning, a stark contrast to the lonely nights beneath the bridge. Here Mensah found not only purpose, but peace, a profound happiness born from connection, love, and the enduring power of music to heal. His journey had come full circle, echoing through the lives he touched and the music that would forever carry his legacy. The riverbank, once a place of solitude and shadows, now pulsed with life and anticipation. Mensah stood at the edge of the crowd, his trumpet gleaming softly in the fading daylight, ready to lead a free concert unlike any the community had seen before. Word had spread across the city this was not just a performance, but a gathering, a celebration of music and resilience, open to all from every walk of life. As the first notes floated into the air, the river seemed to carry them far beyond the immediate space, weaving them through neighborhoods and homes, inviting the scattered souls of Accra to come together. The crowd swelled, children laughing, elders swaying families, holding hands, all drawn by the familiar, soulful melodies that spoke of hope, struggle, and unity. Amid the joyous gathering, the stories of those who once lived in the city's forgotten corners, beneath bridges, in makeshift shelters, surfaced in quiet vignettes. Scenes unfolded of lives hard-lived, of people marginalized and overlooked, their daily battles and quiet dreams told through interviews, flashbacks, and the music's emotive power. These narratives deepened the concert's meaning, reminding everyone that the community's strength lay in its diversity and shared humanity. Mensah's music became the thread stitching these disparate lives together, transforming the event into a tapestry of collective experience and empathy. Strangers became neighbors. Barriers dissolved into bridges of understanding. The warmth of human connection radiated as voices joined in chorus and hands reached out to lift one another. This moment marked a turning point. The community's embrace of Mensah was more than applause. It was acceptance and recognition. Support poured in from unexpected places. Local businesses offered sponsorship. Volunteers stepped forward to organize future events, and public officials began to see the value in nurturing the arts as a force for social change. The stigma that once shadowed the elderly musician and those like him slowly lifted, replaced by respect and hope. Mensa watched as the seeds he had planted blossomed into a movement, music, and compassion, reshaping perceptions and rekindling faith in the power of solidarity. The old riverbank had transformed from a place of isolation into a beacon of community spirit, where the voices of the marginalized were finally heard and celebrated. This chapter was a testament to the enduring strength found in unity, the kind of hope that kindles change and the human capacity to heal through shared stories and songs. As the concert wound down and the last notes lingered in the night air, the crowd dispersed not as strangers, but as a connected family carrying with them the light of a new dawn. Mensa's journey had blossomed into something far greater than personal redemption. It had become a movement of hearts and minds, a living legacy of music's power to unite, uplift, and transform. The triumph that had seemed so assured began to unravel beneath a gathering storm. As Mensa's star ascended, so too did the shadows of those who thrived on chaos and malice. Some unscrupulous figures, seeing an opportunity in his newfound fame, conspired to disrupt the harmony Mensa had painstakingly rebuilt. What had started as a celebration soon turned into a battleground. On the night of a much-anticipated outdoor concert, as the crowd gathered eagerly by the riverbank, the atmosphere shifted abruptly. Whispers of sabotage rippled through the audience as unexpected technical failures plunged the stage into darkness. Mysterious threats surfaced on social media, and rumors spread like wildfire, poisoning the public perception. Mensa found himself under siege not just from external agitators, but from the relentless glare of media scrutiny that questioned his integrity and motives. The pressure was suffocating. Headlines spun distorted narratives, painting Mensa as a figure entangled in controversies he had never invited. The support he had once felt now wavered under the weight of public doubt. Friends and allies cautioned him to retreat, warning that the darkness from his past was casting a longer shadow than ever before. But Mensa refused to be silenced. The battle moved from the stage to the courtroom, where accusations flew and defenses mounted. Legal struggles consumed his days, while the psychological toll of constant scrutiny gnawed at his resolve. Each hearing was a crucible, each encounter a test of endurance. Yet beneath the storm of accusations and fear, Mensa's spirit remained unbroken. Behind closed doors, the tension was palpable. Conversations with his son Kwame grew strained under the weight of uncertainty. But in moments of quiet strength, Kwame reminded his father of the journey they had undertaken together, the resilience forged in hardship, and the truths that no slander could erase. Mensa's days were a whirlwind of lawyers' offices, press briefings, and whispered doubts. But through it all, the music lingered, a reminder of who he was beneath the noise. In brief pauses, he would retreat to his trumpet, coaxing melodies that defied the chaos, melodies that spoke of courage amid despair. The public watched with bated breath, some rallying in support, others swayed by the tides of scandal. The line between hero and victim blurred the fight for Mensa's reputation, becoming a metaphor for the struggle between light and darkness in every human heart. This chapter of Mensa's life was a test unlike any before, fraught with danger, betrayal, and the daunting prospect of losing everything. Yet within the tension and turmoil, a fierce determination burned. Mensa was not merely fighting for his name, but for the dignity of all who dared to rise from the depths. As the courtroom doors closed behind him, each day, Mensa knew that the battle was far from over. But with every note he played in stolen moments of solitude, he reaffirmed his commitment to the truth, to his music, and to the hope that no shadow, no matter how dark, could extinguish the light within. Amid the swirling chaos of public scrutiny and legal battles, Mensa found his sanctuary in the one place that had never failed him: music. It was a force that transcended words, a language that spoke directly to the heart. With every note, he wove threads of healing, connecting not only generations, but also bridging the gaps between human and animal, past and present, pain and hope. The community rallied around him like a protective tide, Friends, neighbors, and strangers became pillars of strength, their faith unwavering in the face of Muffy's of adversity. Kwame stood firmly by his side, not only as a son, but as a partner in a shared vision. Together they envisioned a future where music was not just a privilege, but a right, a beacon for those who had been silenced or forgotten. Their initiative was born from this vision, a free music education program for underprivileged children. In dusty courtyards and humble community centers, Mensah and Kwame began teaching their lessons, echoing with laughter, discovery, and the spark of possibility. The children, many burdened by hardship, found in music a voice, a joy, a reason to dream. The trumpet's notes mingled with the sound of youthful enthusiasm, creating a symphony of hope. The loyal dog, ever present, became a quiet symbol of steadfast love and resilience. Its gentle presence soothed the children, calming fears and inspiring trust. Through this shared experience, an unspoken harmony blossomed between teacher and student, father and son, human and animal. The project became more than education. It was a movement of healing and empowerment. Film footage captured these intimate moments. The shy first notes of a young girl, the determined breath of a boy mastering a new rhythm, the smiles that spread like wildfire. The community began to see not just the music, but the transformation it ignited. Barriers fell away, replaced by connection and mutual respect. Mensah's own heart healed with each lesson, each shared story, each triumph over a hesitant melody. The wounds that once seemed insurmountable softened, replaced by a warm glow of purpose and belonging. His music was no longer a solitary cry in the dark, but a chorus of lives intertwined. This chapter was a testament to the enduring power of love and art to mend even the deepest fractures. It was a celebration of resilience, community, and the unbreakable bond forged through shared dreams and compassionate hearts. Mensah and Kwame's journey inspired many, lighting the way for a brighter, more harmonious tomorrow. The sun hung low in the sky, casting a warm golden glow over the riverbank, where Mensah stood, trumpet gently cradled in his hands. The soft hues of dusk painted the horizon in shades of amber and rose, wrapping the scene in a blanket of serene light. Around him gathered a circle of children, their eyes wide with wonder and hearts open to the melodies weaving through the air. The faithful dog rested quietly at his feet, a silent guardian of this sacred moment. As Mensah lifted the trumpet to his lips, the first notes floated into the evening, carrying the weight of a lifetime of loss, resilience, and hope reborn. The music was no longer just his own story. It had become the voice of a community, the heartbeat of generations, connected by shared dreams and unspoken understanding. The children swayed, the community listened, and the dog's tail thumped softly in rhythm, a gentle pulse of unwavering loyalty. Mensah's weathered face, marked by the passage of time and the trials he had faced, softened into a peaceful smile as he gazed toward the horizon. In that look was the quiet triumph of a man who had journeyed through darkness and emerged into light, who had found purpose in the echoes of his trumpet and the warmth of human connection. The scars of his past no longer defined him. They were threads in the rich tapestry of his life's melody. A voiceover rich with emotion and depth rose above the music. Music is more than sound. It is the language of the soul, the bridge between hearts. It carries our stories, our pain, our joy. Through love and resilience, we find the strength to rise, to heal, to hope. The song never truly ends. It lives on in each note, in each heartbeat, in every life it touches. The camera slowly pulled back the golden light, fading gently, as the last note of Mensah's trumpet echoed softly, a lingering promise in the stillness. The screen darkened, but the warmth of that music and that moment remained a light that would never extinguish. This final scene was a celebration of endurance and unity, a testament to the unbreakable spirit of a man and a community bound by the power of music and love. It left the audience wrapped in a blanket of hope and gratitude, hearts, full spirits lifted. The story of Mensa was no longer just a solitary journey. It had become an anthem for all who believe in the strength of the human spirit and the eternal song that guides us through life's darkest nights into the dawn.